Hey, YouTube, we're live. Today we're talking about leadership lessons from Tom Petty. And before I forget, I'm going to be talking, referencing a video that's on YouTube. I couldn't put the link up on Instagram, but if you go Tom Petty on Making Great Songs, Tom Petty on Making Great Songs on YouTube, you'll be able to find it. And for my YouTube watchers, there's a link in the show notes. So leadership does not come from position. Leadership comes from declaration. Remember, it's the seeing what should be done without proof. It's the intuitive leap. And Tom Petty, without naming it, actually exemplifies this dynamic in his video and in his career. And one of the great stories is he and his bandmates heading out from Florida to Hollywood with a few songs in hand and nothing else. And that's the result of Tom Petty declaring, we are rock star material. We are a band, and we are going to proceed without proof by going to Hollywood and getting a record deal and entering this thing called show business. So here's an important distinction. Don't assume that because someone is your boss, that they are a leader. It's depending on the size of your organization and type of the organization, there's a much better chance that they are an administrator. You could call them an executive, you could call them a manager, but there's a really good likelihood that they are not a leader. While there are leaders in organizations, for the most part, organizations are not run by leaders. The thing about administrators, and people might think I'm knocking administrators. I'm not, because without administrators, managers, executives, again, whatever we call them, there would not be the orderly processes in business. So one of the things to think in terms of administrators is that, like, while they aspire to be leaders many times, what they really are is they're the head of the rhythm department. And because process and production is rhythm, it's just constantly punching it out. And people in charge of the rhythm section don't like their rhythm being disrupted. And so when you go to a boss who is of an administrator, managerial kind of makeup, and you make requests, or you want to change something, or you have a new idea, you're basically throwing a rock into the rhythm section. And if you can remember that, hopefully that'll give you a little more peace of mind as to why the challenges of implementing new and throwing new suggestions into situations is hard with some people. So back to Petty, and Petty touches on the importance of rhythm, obviously in music, but it's also essential in an organization. But one of the things that really caught my attention was Petty, without naming it, talks about intuition. And I love this, and I'm gonna look at my notes a little more than I'd like to, but I just want to make sure I get this right. So he said, it's kind of a dangerous business, looking deeply into the germ that creates songs. I don't like to stare into that light long. I get a little superstitious about it. There's kind of an actual magic going on there. I feel that for some reason I was born with some kind of a conduit to this energy force. I have it happen through me if I try real hard, and sometimes when I'm not trying at all. I could just be standing somewhere, and at the funniest moment, something can come into my head, and I think, oh, that's a good line. And if you're an intuitive person, you completely get that. You can work on your on coming up with new ideas, and you can just have them come to you. And again, it doesn't mean that there's always a good line, but you will experience your own intuition. And I always coach my intuitives that it's about becoming an observer. Observe, write. Read, take in information, and then put yourself in that position where your intuition just flows. For me, it's gardening, it's walks. For you, it could be, whatever. I'm not going to try to I'm not going to try to figure out the answer to that. But you do know, if you're an intuitive, you know where you get into that flow state. And that flow state is dependent upon your constant consumption of information that then your brain just involuntarily forms into new ideas and makes connections that are creative. So the other thing that he does is he describes the leader's job perfectly. He says there has to be new. If you want to keep the music alive, there's got to be new stuff to keep it moving forward. What's the leader's job? Keep it moving forward. Keep finding new stuff. Keep having those intuitive leaps that create new opportunities, that create new products, that see possibilities that others can't see. And the last thing that I love that he touches on is that leaders, he doesn't say leaders forgive. I say leaders forgive, but he talks about the importance of forgiveness. And he says there's so many painful things that we go through in life. They become a load that we all carry around. And part of learning to be a good person, a happy person, is learning that when you forgive someone, you can drop that load and move forward. And this is not in any way a frivolous thing. When you understand the gift you're giving yourself in forgiving others, it's so powerful. You'll wonder why you didn't forgive more people. Forgive people that haven't even done anything to you. But what I also love is that I have seen a video in which Elon Musk was asked about his partners at PayPal, because Elon was demoted from CEO. He went out of the country, went like on a honeymoon or something. And while he was gone, he was demoted from being CEO. And he was asked, how has that been since then? And he said, well, it was rough at first, but one of the things that I've learned is that forgiveness goes a long way. I don't have time to hold grudges. And so I have forgiven those two guys. And the reality is that they continue to invest in each other's projects, and they continue to have a synergy, that would not be possible if Elon had not realized the power of forgiveness. So if you want to be an effective leader and to keep moving forward, you've got to put those loads down. You've got to forgive. And a lot of times the most important person to forgive, yes, yourself. All right. So in closing, what's the leader's job? The leader's job is to keep moving forward, is to keep creating new. It is to constantly live in that process of allowing intuition to flow and to see new opportunities and to see things in new ways. So you intuitives, you have an important job right now. You always have an important job, but especially right now in the chaotic times in which we live, and we're looking for new solutions. I'm Robert J. Conley. That's what I've got for you today. Have a good one.